Good morning. It's 9 a.m. I know, gay people and an LGBTQ plus Kiki at 9 in the morning? That's why I'm still in bed, baby. I'm FayWhat? And I'm gonna help you get your week started off right. We have lots of fun things to talk about, right, Luna? Yes, Faye. It's gonna be a great week.
Gay boys, hashtag that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L-word. Is that girl the girl of all our dreams? She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl. Pride-filled, T-dance, Wilton. Is that girl Latina, but she's universal too? If you find a girl to love, only one girl to love, then she'll be that girl too. That girl.
The FayWhat Show is America's first LGBTQ plus morning show, and we are live right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire Television, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm also on demand. It's Monday, July 18th, 2022. So let's kiki about what's going on in the LGBTQ plus community. I have a sidekick joining me in bed for some conversation. What did you think I was talking about, mal pensados? Our first segment is Gay Boys Sleep Late. This morning, I'm joined by my guy, my favorite gay guy pal, model and burlesque performer, Damien Lenore. You can find him on Instagram at Return of Babylon. Good morning, Damien, and welcome to Faye's Bed.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How's that coffee I gave you? See, I left out the roofies this time, right?
I felt more alert.
See?
What the difference was.
Right? All right. So there's a lot of interesting things going on this week in the LGBTQ plus community. Damien, let's kiki on some of them right now.
Let's do it.
All right. So let's talk about nipples. Yeah, especially Batman's nipples. Look at that. Wait a minute. Before we get to Batman's nipples, do it again.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm so not doing it. God, but you would give Batman a run for his money for sure. All right, so specifically the Batman suit with nipples worn by George Clooney in the 1997 film Batman and Robin. You guys remember that? So when costume sculptor Jose Fernandez added nipples to the armor worn by Batman and Robin in the film, people thought it was crazy. Now the Batman suit is going up for auction later this week. At the auction being run by Heritage Auctions, the iconic suit has a starting bid of $40,000. Have you ever wanted to lick Batman's nipples? Well, here's your chance. What are we all talking about?
I mean, it's iconic.
It is iconic.
And kinky?
At the same time, right? But I could see myself totally licking that costume.
And it's like, theoretically, I know it's a costume, but in the movie, like, was it supposed to be thin material? Like, would he feel it if you licked them?
No, I don't think he would. But who cares? You would. You're licking Batman's nipple. And this was George Clooney, right?
Yes.
So I thought he was one of the most handsome Batmans. He probably wasn't the best Batman, but he was one of the best looking ones. Which one did you like?
I mean, that was my favorite Batman movie.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
It was like the campiest. It was definitely the most gay.
With the Joker and no, the Penguin. The Penguin was in that movie, I think it was.
The what movie with Poison Ivy?
Oh, well, that's very campy. That's
really, like
that's
a whole
really
drag
gay.
queen.
Oh my God, with all the green on, and then
horns, scary spice hair, and the little like eye appliques and everything, and her like little dust she blew out.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that movie was camp.
like
Classic.
through and through. Now, would you pay 40 grand for this armor? I mean, if you had money to spend.
So they're only selling Batman's one.
Yes. You want Robin's?
A Robin was hotter. in my humble opinion,
in your humble opinion, you would rather lick the nipple
out of Robin's jockstrap than the nipples of Batman's.
Sonia, but you went far, Damien, because we're not going that south of the outfit. You were staying up here in the northern area. You automatically went down to his ball sweat.
I need to stop.
Right? Watch this costume. It's going to go for a lot of money. You're going to see Damien there stalking the person who wins it and waiting outside their window for them to leave, for him to steal it. Next, Pride is over, but that won't stop some people from celebrating. On June 1st, 96.9 The Eagle, KKGL, the classic rock station out of Boise, Idaho, replaced their usual logo with one incorporating the Progress Pride flag. As the month continued, they got both a lot of support and a lot of hate. On July 1st, they decided to show they didn't care about the haters, posting, quote, flag stays up for another month, deal with it. If we lose fans, that's fine. If we keep getting harassed, then it will go another month. Plus, Freddie Mercury rules, end quote. This radio station encompasses what it means to be an ally through and through. What are we all talking about?
Well, that's badass. And in the true spirit of rock music, it's very, I don't give a F what you think. Right?
Like DGAF. And like, you know, something that we were talking about before the show, it's like, you know, for the most part, you don't think of a rock station being supportive to our community. No. And that's us being small-minded, because I automatically was like, oh, this is going to be a hate story or something that they did negative towards us. And it's the complete opposite, where they're like, we'll keep the rainbow logo all year long. If you keep on messing with us, we don't care.
Well, thinking back to when I was younger, I used to go to a lot of like local rock band shows and stuff like that when I lived in New Jersey growing up. Mm-hmm. And they were some of like the queerest spaces that I knew of.
Really?
That I was going to. It was like my theater group and then the local shows. Huh. I had one of my first like gay kisses at like a local rock band show when I was like 16.
Are you all imagining that? Because I am. Hold on. Yeah. You see Damien with his black nails? Yeah. And there's a pasty somewhere there. I don't know. Somewhere about that. But, you know, then I started thinking also, going back to the story about, you know, it's Idaho. You know, it's Boise, Idaho. And fun fact, like about 8 years ago, I got offered a job in Boise, Idaho. And I was like, I am way too Latina, way too brown, way too gay to be moving to Boise, Idaho.
You don't think of Idaho as being like the...
what you call me? Idaho. Anyway, big props going out to this radio station. I think that they are awesome. That is how you support a community. Just like that. It doesn't take a lot. It's just kind of like, hey, we're supportive and that's it. You guys want to stop listening to us? Oh, well.
Being supportive and sticking up for people is badass.
Yeah.
Bullying is not badass.
No.
Sticking up for people and supporting people who need it is badass.
And I noticed that, you know, a lot of straight people, you know, will ask us, what can we do for your community? You know, what can we do? Okay, yeah, aside from donating to our organizations that support our community, stuff like this is how you come through for us. You don't stay quiet when a group of people say negative things about our community, or when they misgender somebody, or when they're just rude about the LGBTQ plus community. You stand up and you say, no, there's no place for that here. And that's how you help us.
Yeah.
All right. Next, there have been a couple of high-profile entertainers recently who have made comments about trans women. We're not going to name them or go into all that drama. What are we going to do? What we're going to do is celebrate the amazing, the beautiful, the steadfast ally that Linda Carter is. TV's Wonder Woman spoke out on Twitter in support of our community again, saying, quote, I cannot think of anything that helps women's rights less than pinning the blame on trans women. They face so much violence and scrutiny as is. Leave them alone and focus on the real war on women. It's happening in the courts and legislatures around this country, end quote. Wonder Woman! Bing! 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 What are we all talking about? Oh yeah, this woman. I don't care if she's gotten a little bit of work done, whatever it is, she still looks flawless and beautiful. Yeah. She's got to be like 104 at this point, right?
And she looks incredible.
Like those eyes of hers, like she's just like mesmerizing. Like I'd sleep with her now. I'd call her grandma. I don't care, like whatever it was.
Absolutely.
Like, but anyway, aside from that, ally 100%. Like this is how you come through for us as well.
And how intelligently worded that was. How she left no room for argument at all. Mm-hmm. She said, these are the facts. This is what it is, and if you have an issue, here's how to deal with it.
So we talked last week about Bette Midler's comment towards women's reproductive rights, and we were just saying that, hey, she might have maybe just not thought about it before she posted what she posted, and and she wasn't. So they jumbled her up with Macy Gray and other non-allies. Well, that'll be a nice way to put it, And I'm still trying to give her the benefit of the doubt right now, But a story like Linda Carter's story makes me have hope for some of these entertainers that are still trying to find their way and are still trying to learn. I mean, we're all still learning. I get it.
Yes.
But come out and say, hey, I was dumb. I was stupid. I didn't know all the facts. I should have worded things different. I'm sorry, Bette. You kind of broke my heart.
Yeah, it's a real bummer.
Right?
It's a real bummer.
It's just like, if it was somebody else, we'd be like, all right, well, whatever.
Like Macy Gray, who cares? She had one hit in the 90s and has been nobody for God knows, who cares what you think, Macy Gray?
Yeah,
I don't, and neither does anyone else.
I think Macy Gray's hair has more followers on Instagram than she does at this point. It's just who? We don't care about you.
She had great hair. She did have great hair.
She did.
That. She definitely had great hair, and her hit was really cute.
It was.
But that doesn't excuse a shitty outlook.
No, and that's it. It's true. Next, we all missed the Golden Girls. Oh, which one were you?
I think I was Rose.
Were you Rose?
I like to think I was Blanche because she's hot and fierce, but I'm kind of a bimbo, so I think I'm definitely more Rose than Blanche.
Every time my friends and I start talking about a sexual story about, my escapades in the past, one of my besties will say, okay, wait, is this a Blanche story? And I'll be like, yes, you got it right. So I was Blanche, but they always wanted to make me Dorothy because I'm 18 feet tall and awkward, but funny. I'll take it.
You know what? Funny is good.
Right?
I like funny.
And Sophia, I loved Sophia too. We should always say, picture it, Sicily, 1958. Say stuff like that.
Aww.
I miss them. I can't believe that. And now all four of them are dead. Can you guys believe that? Oh, Rose, Betty White. Oh. Anyway, so let's go. So now that all four of the actresses have passed away, we sadly will never see them quite the same way again. But Mike Hollingsworth, who worked as a supervising director for shows like BoJack Horseman, has created a new pilot episode of a special Golden Girls. The best part is that the entire original cast is returning. I know you might be wondering how that is, right? Well, it's Golden Girls 3033. The four roommates have found the fountain of youth and are still living in Miami in 3033. There's probably still construction on the Palmetto, even in 3033. Yeah. The show uses all original audio remixed to tell a brand new story. Golden Girls fans, I hear you and I got you. Look at this. Golden Girls comes back in animation. What are we all talking about?
That's awesome. I think it's going to be really funny. And I like the idea of this. So it's the little clip that you saw.
Yeah.
They're remixing the original audio.
So it's their voices. It's still them. It's just them in 3033 Miami.
So they're doing it kind of like Mad Libs, just taking the thing to fill in the different spots.
But it will flow and it will have a storyline. I mean, they've got that many episodes where they're able to do that. I'd love to see what does Blanche sleep with one of the monsters in 3033 or does
she does.
Right?
You know she does.
And does Sophia say picture it, 1989? I don't know.
I'm waiting for some tentacle jokes.
Oh my God, yeah. Some nipple jokes, all of that. I mean, but Golden Girls was just so incredible when they were out. And I still watch them today. Yeah. Logo, I think that's the only thing that they play now is Golden Girls on a loop on Sunday. So I'll watch all of them. And they were so ahead of their time, Damien. They were so ahead of their time.
They definitely were. And I think there's also something to be said for shows that keep it light like that. It's nobody puts on an episode of the Golden Girls, watches it, and walks away with a bad mood.
No. Yeah, there's always a solution.
Lighthearted,
And even when they tackled rough issues like deportation, abortion, trans rights, I mean, they hit all these subjects in the 80s, people.
Yeah.
And yet at the end, like you said, you still walked away feeling good.
That's 40 years ago, the 80s.
God, I'm old. Finally, last week we discussed the Fifth Element star Chris Tucker. You guys remember that? So this week we're discussing the Fifth Element costume designer and fashion icon, John Paul Gaultier. Recently, in an interview with Attitude, he discussed getting older as a gay man. He said, quote, Go and do the things you like. You want more of that. Of course, I see wrinkles and stuff like that, but you have to accept them. It's as beautiful as an old denim. The more denim gets old, the better it is. And some people get better looking because of their brain, end quote. Why is aging such a thing for some gays? Jean-Paul Gaultier has some advice for you. What are we all talking about?
I agree with him. You know, like it's really, everybody's looks fade in the end, you know. And it's, what doesn't really fade is your personality. If you can be an interesting person, you're always going to be sexy in a way, you know?
Yeah. No, and it's just interesting coming from this designer, this icon, because he's freaking iconic, you know? For him to say that, where part of his everyday is beauty, models, how you look is important. And he's saying that your brain makes you sexier. You know, I mean, that's, I know gay boys that, like, you know, won't go to a pool party because they've gained a couple pounds. Like, literally will not go. Like, no, I can't go. I can't take my shirt off in public because I've gained a couple pounds.
That really affects a lot of us, you know, like, and
it doesn't affect you, Mr. 0% body fat.
I mean, it does though. Cause it's like, if say I had Chinese food the night before and I know that I'm going to a pool party and then I'm all like retaining water and stuff like that, I'm going to think twice about going, and I might go to some extreme measures like sitting in a sauna for 25 minutes or covering myself in preparation H to like shrink my skin down and stuff like that. There's like all these.
You guys are learning stuff every day. You heard that? Preparation H. Okay, I thought it was for the bags under your eyes. Supposedly it helps for the skin too.
Everywhere. It does.
Everywhere.
I mean, I'm sure it works where it's supposed to work and other places that you can use it on. So, you know, but it's like we go to these toxic measures to try and fit a standard that's set for us, which is really just capitalism and bullshit at the end of the day.
So beauty fades, get somebody who's smart. Like I told you, I love nerds. Like, nerds are so sexy to me. The more you know, like when I first met my wife, I would tell her, just open up a medical book and read to me. I don't know what the hell you're saying, but it's sexy as hell. My nipples are getting hard.
Oh, the pasties. I should have put pasties.
The pasties. Wow. The FayWhat show is part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America. Hotspots magazine has been documenting the LGBTQ plus experience for 36 years now, and Happening Out Television Network has been bringing you daily LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, talk shows, and more for 4 years now. In the same model of PBS and NPR, we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to educate and serve the LGBTQ plus community. Florida's presidential candidate, Ron DeSantis, he calls it Don't Say Gay. Fox News and Tucker Carlson, they call it a secret gay agenda. We don't care what they think, so we're taking them both back. Let's play with our great South Florida events in our own The Gay Agenda. First, Hamburger Mary's has been bringing some of the biggest names in drag to Wilton Manors. This weekend, the legendary Detox icon from Drag Race fame will be performing at the Dining with the Divas shows on both Friday and Saturday nights. There are 2 seatings each night, and the 7 p.m. seating on Friday is also a RuPaul's Drag Race viewing party. What do we love about this?
Well, Detox is hysterical and awesome.
Yeah. And she did that parody, right, of what was it? The Chick-fil-A song. Hysterical. I can't stand Chick-fil-A, you know, for obvious reasons, but the song is funny as hell.
Yeah.
You know, I just love that Hamburger Mary's is bringing us all these divas that we have just seen on our personal TVs, like right here, front and center, you know. And I love that they're also doing the viewing party. Are you up to date on Drag Race All-Stars?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. I usually have it on while I'm getting ready for a show on Friday night.
Okay.
So it's like...
That's good. That gets you hyped.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's like, I'll watch to see the looks and to see the different things and who won. But it's like, I don't always have time to like sit down and like watch the whole thing. But it's always in the background.
Who's your favorite?
My favorite
Who's your favorite and who do you think is going to win?
That's tough. I mean, my favorites are Raja and Jinx. I think Jinx is going to win. I think the Vivian, I mean, they're all incredible.
No, they're all incredible. One after another, after another, after another. When you see the runway looks, guys, catch up if you haven't. It's like, and then the next one will be like.
They all have such like a refreshing perspective. Like, you look at Jada is always so absolutely stunningly gorgeous and beautiful.
Flawless face.
And Monet is always witty and funny and has such like a big personality. Then you have Evie that's so like interesting and like
weird, but cool weird.
Like punk weird, you know? Really, really cool.
And I love her visions when it comes to certain themes. Like she will come like, you know, it was one runway look where she was like an insect or something walking around with these crazy canes. And it was like,
scorpion tail.
How did she make this look incredible? And she did. I mean, it's going to be a tough competition. I am with you with the Vivienne. For me, my two top girls are the Vivienne and Jinx. It's just, and it's hard because like I love me some Trinity the Tuck. Love her some Trinity the Tuck. Hey Trinity, I saw her at Gay Days and she was nice enough to sit with me for a bit and talk. And she wouldn't tell me if she won, but I mean, she's incredible too.
Her looks that she's been bringing this season have been, I mean, she's always had great looks, but this season they're like, high drag.
High. And she's helping others. And every time she stops to help somebody else, I think in my mind, because I'm an asshole, I'm like, oh, now she's going to mess up her look. Her look is going to be, you know, it's going to be less good because she's helping all these others. And what? I'm wrong. Every single time her look is incredible. Incredible.
And that personality, she's so like campy and funny and silly. And it's like, I really love all of them. And I'm happy none of them are getting sent home because I like to see them week after week.
Progress. Yeah. And you mentioned Raja. She was one of my favorites.
Amazing.
She was one of my, I mean, because she's one of the OGs, right?
Yeah.
She's like the first or second season. I mean, like way back in the day. I don't know who does her Botox, but she looks incredible, except for all the white hair. And it's still, she rocks it. Like she's just so beautiful.
And she has such a refreshing and interesting perspective on fashion.
Like the gothic look that she did for the Santa Claus.
Oh my God.
Like she just made it her own.
Absolutely.
Like it was just completely different than what even the judges were expecting to be put into that role. So if you haven't watched Drag Race All-Stars, catch up, okay? And if you're in town and you want to go to Hamburger Mary's to see this incredible queen, we will see you there for sure. Next, a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus community weren't able to go to school events as a teen. Well, on July 30th, Lezplay Bae Mrly Entertainment are throwing a Girls, Gays, and Theys Prom. At the Arsht Center, the event is a 21 and up LGBTQ plus prom. Girls, gays, days, and everyone in between will have an opportunity to serve, slay, and dress their very best. For people who didn't get to go to prom, couldn't be themselves at prom, or just love a great party, it's time to experience prom the way we were always meant to. What do we love about this? Everything.
Yeah,
everything.
A lot of people in our community did not get to go to their prom.
Well, one of my really close friends, Cal, he's actually a friend of the show as well. He told me that, like, you know, he really wants to go to this prom because he wasn't able to, that he went, you know, he didn't go to his prom because he wasn't able to go and be his authentic self. And he thought that he couldn't fake the funk and just go with a girl or, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, like prom is one of those things that, it's one of those memories that you want to hold close. It's when most people lose their virginity, which probably a lot of people will be practicing that on that day as well. But it's, you know, we tell the stories all the time of somebody, you know, going to the prom with a same sex, you know, and like breaking all the rules. And then they're like, and, you know, they're all over the TV. I don't understand why that becomes national news, but we're not there yet, you know, not 100%, you know, and especially with these, God, don't say gay bills and stuff like that. We might never be able to be ourselves at prom again. But you went to prom and you were prom king.
Yes.
Why are we? None of us are surprised, right? Are you surprised? No. Are you surprised? No, I didn't think you would be.
So I was like the weird rebel art kid when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I was like pretty much out the end of senior year when prom happened. And we could not bring a same-sex person to prom. So I went with the girl who had been my girlfriend and is still one of my best friends.
So your bestie. Yeah, you told me about her.
Through
So you weren't allowed to, like, if you wanted to bring a boy, you couldn't.
No.
And but they said this, like, flat out.
Yes. And I wore my black nail polish and my guy liner and had my like punk rock little blazer with all the raunchy lyrics written on it and everything like that. Because I hated my principal because he fully hated me for being gay. Like clear, upfront and clear. It was always really nasty to me and stuff like that.
He was not beating around the bush. He literally was like, no.
Yeah, he might as well have called me like an F word. That's just like the way he like
made you feel.
Yeah, very that. And then to go in there and to win was like a big middle finger
Yeah,
to this
of course.
son of a bitch that's sitting up there judging all the gay kids in the school.
Oh, okay. So for all those kids out there, if you didn't get to have this experience like Damien did, I did it, prom queen. I wish. That's why I buy, that I buy tiaras like on a weekly basis just because like they make me happy.
Absolutely.
I love tiaras. Maybe I'll wear one next week. I might wear one next week just for fun. Anyway, go to this prom, okay? I'm going to go for sure. I think I'm going to grab a couple friends and go because I've got a lot of friends that weren't able to enjoy their prom during their high school time. Why not do it now? And the Arsht Center is beautiful. I am looking for my outfit tomorrow.
Maybe I'll bring Izzy. That would be cute.
I think that would be amazing. Let's do it. We'll see you guys there. Next, I know Damien likes rock music, and a lot of gays do. For those who grew up with the rock music scene of the late 90s and early 2000s, you'll want to go to the iTHINK Financial Amphitheatre on Saturday the 24th to see Incubus. They'll be joined on stage by a very special guest, Sublime with Rome. What do we love about this?
I mean, Incubus is like a legendary 90s rock
band, yeah.
Would you really call it?
Are they a band? Or
they were a band.
I mean, you wouldn't call them a boy band or a boy group or anything like that, right? Because
I mean, when I think of Incubus, I think of Brandon Boyd, who was the main singer.
Okay.
I know they had like a band behind them, but he was kind of like the face of that.
Got it. But their music is like not like hard rock, right?
No. It's kind of like easy listening, alternative rock, bordering on pop.
Okay. What were those like? Were they mosh pits when people would like throw their bodies in the middle and
kick each other's asses?
And they weren't gay or even trying to feel each other up or anything. They were just doing it for pain. I know you were.
Punch me in the face. Make me feel something.
I like it. Slap me a couple times. Go get tickets to go see Incubus. Next, we've talked about this event before, and I'm going to talk about it again, okay? Because it's an important event. All right, it's time again for the Lambda Men's Brotherhood to throw their monthly charity pool party, and all the money goes to a good cause. So it's really important for you guys to support this. The event is at In Leather from noon to 5 p.m. on the 23rd, and this month they're celebrating National Grill Month. So are they celebrating grill like to cook on, or they're celebrating grill like the teeth?
I hope it's to cook on.
Okay, but we're okay with either one. All right. The party always has a grill going on with food. There are drinks available and lots of clothing optional fun. All in the name of charity. Rooms are still available if you want to book a stay at the In Leather and make a whole weekend of the event. Bring your friends. Like, make it a thing. It's a lot of fun. Tickets are available at the door, cash or credit. What do we love about this? I love that you don't have to think about what to wear to this.
Absolutely.
It's clothing optional. Whatever you wear is fine or don't wear.
And think of all the options of things that you can put on hot dog buns. And put ketchup and mustard on top of,
Of your penis? What? You guys didn't think that? I mean, if it's clothing optional, might end up in a bun.
Which one isn't a hot dog?
I'm gonna show you 3 hot dogs and buns. You pick which one is your favorite. Which topping is your favorite? Anyway, so Lambda Men's Brotherhood, they're always, they're always out there for the greater good. So go support them. The last event that they were doing, they were getting money to help school education. There's a lot of kids that go to school and like their parents don't have the money to send them to school with a backpack and supplies and stuff, that they need.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
It is amazing. I love it.
And the people since this is IML week, right?
Yeah, so all the leather community is going to be in town too.
This is going to be a packed house. It's going to be a big party.
Yeah, so maybe just a harness. That's all you need. Or maybe just a mask.
Leather hotties and everyone's showing off their outfits and stuff.
Incredible looking leather hotties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like after Stonewall, I did what any red-blooded lesbian would do. I went to the Eagle. Started twerking, right? And like all the leather boys were in there and they were flogging me and stuff like that. And I was having a great old time.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're just such a welcoming group. You don't have to be part of the leather community to go to any of these events. So make sure you go and you support them.
And the fashions are fun to look at.
And they are, right? Finally, if you watch many of the shows on the Happening Out television network, you've probably seen DJ Nena on Queer News Tonight. That's my Puerto Rican sister. And it's Happening Out. If you want to see her in her natural habitat instead, make sure that you head on over to Lit Bar Wilton Manors on Fridays as she DJs for their weekly retro party. She's mixing the music videos from all of your favorite hits from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. Great music, great drink specials, all starting at 9 p.m. What do we love about this?
So I love 80s, 90s, and 2000s music.
Me too. Me too. I listen to that like on my presets
Yeah.
also. I can't believe the 2000s music is already considered retro.
Is that wild?
Yeah.
Is that wild?
Yeah. I don't
Like-
care. I'm still going to be screaming the music and enjoying my time. I mean, Lit Bar is a lot of fun. The drinks are not expensive. I've gone there with a group of people and I've been surprised at what the bill would be. And they just, like the nostalgia of it all.
Yeah.
You know, like, like, okay, oh, that song, that was on MTV. I remember watching this here, blah, blah, blah. And
Your old favorite music videos and everything.
the old
I love that.
Madonnas and all that kind of stuff. And DJ Nena is an extraordinary DJ. She knows what's up. She's been part of our community, entertaining our community for over 20 years. And it's just a lot of fun. So if you're able to get over to Lit Bar, they've got something going on almost every day over there. So go check it out.
They're doing their thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, Luna? Look who's back. Hello, Miss Luna. Thank you. We made out. At least you had a breath mint before you came over here. You had something, right? Thank you, Luna. So you can see rich content on all these events at happeningout.com and click the gay agenda in the menu. Well, that is what we will be talking about this week. She really is licking my arm. And the events we want to attend. Damien, I love you. Thank you so much for being with me in my bed. What do you got going on this weekend?
So I have an interesting event on Thursday in Delray.
Oh, I love Delray.
Movies of Delray is showing this independent Australian film about a woman who is middle-aged who starts, the way they explained it to me is she started kind of like a escort / cleaning service. So it's like these hot guys.
Ooh, naked maids?
Something like that. Don't quote me on that because I might have been a little confused with that. But me and my friend Sin Silva are going to be doing burlesque before the movie. Like, we're each going to perform, and then they're going to have the movie, and I think they're having a sex therapist talk afterwards.
Ooh,
So,
I love that.
It sounds like a really cool event. This is going to be my first time doing this particular event, and it's this Thursday at 7:30. You can find out more about it on Movies of Delray.
Yay! Okay, and make sure that you follow Damien on Instagram so you can find out where he's going to be also, and also on Facebook. Okay, Facebook Damien Lenore, and it's Instagram Return of Babylon. I want to thank Damien for getting up early for the FayWhat show, and remember, follow him on Instagram. He'll be back with me in bed next Monday morning. I know how hard it is for you to wake up, Papi, but I really do appreciate you.
Anything for you. I love you.
I love you. Gay boys, sleep late. So did you know that Happening Out Television Network studios are located at Sunshine Cathedral Square? That also houses Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church located in Fort Lauderdale. We broadcast their Sunday service every week to more than 30,000 people at 10:30 a.m.
I'm James Wallington.
I'm Will Jardell, and we are the winners of The Amazing Race.
We made history as the first LGBTQ+ contestants to get engaged while competing across the world on the show.
Oh, and we also won the $1 million.
And Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
At the FayWhat show, we want to introduce you to interesting people that are important to our LGBTQ+ community. Drag is a form of gender-bending performance art, mainly for performing and entertainment purposes, right? And drag is also queer gender expression and celebrating two-spirit and LGBTQIA+ pride. Drag is not new. Drag was prevalent in ancient Greece and in the Shakespearean era. After the famous 1969 Stonewall riots in New York City, through the early 1990s, gay pride and gay culture were more widely recognized than ever. And so was drag culture. Films like Paris is Burning and The Birdcage helped introduce drag to a brand new audience. Then RuPaul and World of Wonder came in and made it all mainstream. Now, I'm obsessed with indigenous drag artists like my next guest. Let's welcome Lady Shug. Shug is an indigenous two-spirit queer person. Last week, we celebrated Non-Binary Awareness Week and International Non-Binary Persons Day, and I just had to bring this nationally and internationally known badass two-spirit icon to the FayWhat show. Welcome, Lady Shug.
Hello, relative. How are you?
Oh, how are you, fellow brown person? It is so wonderful to have you on my show. You are a busy, busy girl.
Yes, that's indeed. But I'm very honored. I'm very blessed to travel all over Mother Earth and Turtle Island. It's such an honor and such an honor to be here with you to share space with you.
Thank you so much, lady. So I am a huge, huge, huge fan. My pronouns are her, she, she's, and I want you to explain your pronouns and if you even use them.
Yeah, so I technically do not use pronouns. I just recently came out as non-binary, but after talking to one of my elders and one of my good friends, as an Indigenous person, I don't really like to use the binary system, which is basically if you're non-binary, that's on the binary system. So I like to be considered myself a relative. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against anybody of using their pronouns. If that's for you, fabulous. Use it. Use that power. For me, it's like whatever you want to call me that makes you feel comfortable. I know that I'm comfortable with who I am, and I am still a relative, whether you call me a he, a they, a non-binary. I'm just Shug. I'm just a relative. I'm just a human, if that makes sense.
No, I love that. And it makes perfect sense. Shug, why don't we have more Indigenous representation like yourself?
Because we've been oppressed for so many years. We still have the government controlling Indigenous people. We were forced onto territories, which is called reservoirs or reservations, if you would. So we were forced into these communities. We're not really highlighted in mainstream media, aka Hollywood. We're not in fashion. We're slowly getting there. So I feel like if there's a lack, especially in the queer community, for Indigenous queer folks, Indigenous Two-Spirit folks, Indigenous trans folks, Indigeneity, amazingness. It's just because everybody forgot about us. And that's exactly what the government has been trying to do and still trying to do even to this day.
Yeah, like I was thinking about that the last Christopher Columbus Day. I was like, why in heavens do we still even celebrate this day of this man that basically raped and pillaged and stole land? But we do.
Exactly. Yeah, we celebrate someone's birthday like that, or their birthday, and it should just be a day of just mourning, to be honest, because that was the day that Indigenous folks lost their land, and Indigenous folks like myself are still trying to get that land back. So yeah, I don't know why. I wish they would teach us in our middle school or like in high school the real history. That's including Black history. That's including Latin history. That's including my Asian relative history in our storybooks. Because you know, the U.S., what we call the U.S. Turtle Island, is a melting pot of many races and many cultures, and I feel like it needs to be highlighted. But the first thing that needs to be respected and always remembered is Indigenous folks.
May I also ask you about being two-spirited? I was blessed to be part of the board of Celebrate Orgullo, which is an incredible festival that happens here every year, and it's celebrated for Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks, and we celebrate music, art, culture, history, and it's just such a wonderful, wonderful event and festival that we do every year. And I am embarrassed and a little bit ashamed. I am big on education, but I had never heard of a two-spirit. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Don't feel ashamed, because guess what? You're doing the work by actually learning. I said that's the first step. So don't ever feel ashamed. So we got to take that out of your vocabulary. As long as you insert that word, you said learning. If you're learning, you're setting the goals. You are making movement. You're being an ally. You're being a comrade to Indigenous folks, or anything regarding any kind of work when it comes to re-educating ourselves. As far as two-spirited folks, that was a term that was developed in the 90s. It is a term, oh my God, there was an earthquake. Sorry about that. Two-spirit is a term that is for Indigenous, queer, trans, gay, lesbian, all the spectrums of Indigenous folks. It is where you embody both the feminine, gosh, I didn't have my coffee this morning.
And you just had an earthquake. So, I mean, put those two things together.
So I'm just so excited. That embody the male and female spectrum. Most tribes have two-spirit leaders, communicators, educators. Basically, two-spirit folks have been here before the whole spectrum of the LGBTQ plus. So for me and my tribe, which is the Navajo Nation, which the preferred name is Dene, for the Dene tribe where I come from, there is a term called Lezplay, which is the term two-spirit. So each tribe has different meanings. They have different names for two-spirit folks. Not all Indigenous folks claim two-spirit. And so it's something that you have to be Indigenous first. And secondly, it's something that it's a really honor to be two-spirit because you're able to do both spectrums of the roles, if that makes sense. A male's role, a female's role, when it comes to like dancing and when it comes to traditions, when it comes to storytelling, we are the pillars to be able to go back and forth to both sides. So if you were playing, for example, if you were playing, what was that, Red Rover, where you had to run back and forth? So a two-spirit person would be the only one to go on both sides and not get in trouble.
And not get in trouble. That's key. Let's talk about We Are Here. What an incredible show. And I got to learn a lot about you, and the rest of the world got to learn a lot about Two-Spirit. How did that come about?
Yeah. So that came about.
You were on 2 seasons, right? Were you on 2 seasons?
Well, I was on a little cameo on season 2. But we'll get to that. So season 1, they came here to my territory, which is Farmington, which is a border town to my reservation, which is the Navajo Nation, which is the Neck Nation. And Farmington is a border town. It's very Republican. It's very an oil-filled town. It's not a fun place to live if you're brown at all, brown or black, and especially if you're queer. So it's difficult growing up here. So they came here. They filmed for like a good 2 weeks. They filmed and had one of the main features, which was my good friend, my little brother. His name is Nate. He is a Dene photographer. And so he kind of included me in his storyline. I was like his little Yoda, if you would, because I was doing drag already. Producers and everything were kind of pitching to have me as one of the main leads, but because I was already established in my career and kind of was already known to do drag, they kind of wanted folks that never done drag before. And so that's why I wasn't like a main feature, but I don't want to give no spoilers away. If you haven't watched it yet, so
everybody's watched it. We're all caught up. We want you to come back, you know.
So I was on the Farmington episode, which was episode 4, and I was on the season finale where you really got to see me perform on season 6, and then I did a cameo on season 2 in the Hawaii episode where I went to go be in solidarity with my Hawaiian relatives, just because there's so much indigeneity. And so I already knew Lambda and Hawane, which was on the story, and they're land protectors like myself. So, you know, once a land protector calls you and says, hey, we need you here, you show up. So I showed up for the filming of that, and that was just a fabulous experience. I got to see another part of the islands of Hawaii, and it was so beautiful to see other sacred sites and feel that power of Mother Earth. I believe they're still filming season 3, but yeah, it's a fabulous show. If you have not watched it, I would encourage your young siblings, even your elders, even your friends, to watch it. It's a good way to educate yourself in queer culture, in trans culture, in just the whole spectrum of just being queer. It's a good learning point. It's a lot easier because it's fun and fabulous, but it really speaks the truth. Because a lot of people, when they think of, you know, gay pride, they think of, you know, rainbows and thongs and, you know, just the
partying.
I mean, there's that part. Yeah, there's that part to it. But We're Here brings the wholesome. It brings the stories, the values, the struggles of being a queer person, especially in these small communities.
Yeah, because, you know, we're coming to you from South Florida. And Florida, if you've heard, we've got all kinds of anti-trans bills going our way. We have Don't Say Gay. our kids in school can't talk about gay. They can't talk about their gay parents. LGBTQ plus history books have been completely taken off the shelves in libraries. This is the attacks that we're getting. And we're not a small city. We're a very big city, but this is something that occurs. And then we're wondering if the rest of the world notices. We're here shows everyone what's going on in these little towns like yours.
Yeah.
You got to work with Shangela, Eureka, and Bob the drag queen, right? How was it working with them?
Fabulous. I'm a big Bob the drag queen fan. We've established a friendship over We're Here, and him and his team have really molded me to do a lot of traveling. Sometimes I'm a one-woman team, so I'm new jumping into traveling as an entertainer. I do drag full time besides my activism work, so it was a lot. But I'm really thankful for Bob the drag queen, because Bob was the mentor for both the daughters on season 1 and season 2 that I knew of. I know Shangela and Eureka. I didn't really get to get like a personal bond with them, but Bob was amazing. I kind of wish that they filmed me. Nothing against my little brother Nate. If they would have had me, because like just talking about that in Florida. So my tribe, which is the Diné tribe, is a sovereignty nation, which means that we have our own government on our territory. And so our tribal government, there's no protection for queer folks and trans folks. So there's no hate crime laws in place. There's no same-sex marriage laws accepted. You can also get fired if you're gay from the tribal government.
Wow.
So it's so backwards, because a lot of folks don't realize that a lot of these tribal governments don't protect or include, the queer folks, the trans folks, the gay folks. So it's really crazy that people are like getting upset, and I'm like, it's been like this on my res for quite some time, and we don't get the recognition to speak up on it.
Yeah. Like you were saying, you are an established you were already an established drag queen before you started with We're Here. So has it changed your life any after the seasons aired? Like, has anybody come up to you and been like, we saw you, we loved you before, and we saw you on We're Here, and now we're just obsessed, like me?
Yes and no. I would say that for season 1, that's when you got to see me, and it was more of a bigger platform for myself. I was able to touch a lot of more relatives out in the world. I would say I hate to say this because 2020 was horrible, because we lost a lot of relatives during that pandemic. But 2020 was amazing, because I was able to do a lot of things virtually, internationally, because, we were in a pandemic, so we were doing stuff virtually. So I got to do a lot during 2020. And that was when We're Here season 1 aired. And it's still kind of been a long journey that I'm still trying to ride as long as possible. But also, I'm so blessed by it, because it's given me a bigger voice to tell folks about my activism work, or I would like to say my community activism work, because I don't do this for myself. I don't do this for clout. I do it for my people. And so it's given me the opportunity to help my people in the long run. And so I'm just happy. I'm more on that. I mean, it's fabulous to do shows, don't get me wrong, and it's fabulous to travel, but to see folks reaching out to me, wanting to help my community, wanting to learn how they can become better relatives and how they can become active and do mutual aid work in their communities, it's bigger than me, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity.
And you're an incredible conduit. You are really just bringing together these communities that maybe would have never been together beforehand. And that is just a beautiful thing that you're doing. And let's touch on what you just said. What would you say to like other members of LGBTQ plus community that want to support their trans, non-binary, indigenous people? Like, how can those of us gays and lesbians who have gained a little more visibility in mainstream culture offer support to those that are not?
Yeah. That don't include indigenous people. I'm sorry, I didn't quite
also indigenous people, please. Yes. How could we support? How could the G and the L support everybody else in the acronym, including Two-Spirit individuals?
Yeah. So I'm trying to learn too, like even to put the 2S before LGBTQ plus. Because let's be honest, Indigenous folks were here before, but it's something that I would say just learn, like you said, take steps to learn. That's all you need. You don't think it's going to happen overnight. Trust me, I'm a part of this community. I'm still learning every day. I'm learning about pronouns. I'm learning about different gender expressions. I'm learning about different things in our community that our young folks are teaching us. So don't always you feel like you need to be put in this box or you're set in your ways. You need to change. I was always taught by my drag mother, once you stop learning or once you stop getting criticism, you need to hang up your heels, which basically is like for somebody that does drag. So I want to consistently learn. So I challenge all my relatives that are watching that are not, especially Indigenous, to or don't have different things, to include folks. There's also our unsheltered relatives that are queer that we forget about. We forget our unable-bodied relatives that we forget about. We forget about our Indigenous folks. I would encourage you to reach out to your community centers, your gay centers, to your pride committees, to even just your house. Get to know somebody that you normally don't have in your spectrum of your friends or your group of friends, and invite them. Because love is love, and I feel like if you do that, the world's going to evolve more. And just building that kin, which in my culture is called kinship, is a strong bond. And I feel like as us as a community, we need to stop criticizing and being so crucial with each other and start lifting each other up. And I think that's a good way to be a good sister or brother or non-binary or good relative to everybody in the acronyms.
I love your positivity, Lady Shug. Like, I love your positivity. We all have to face haters, you know, at every step of the way in our community. How do you keep the smile? How do you like not say, man, this is just a lot of work? You know, we keep on being marginalized. We keep on being stepped on. Do you get those days where you're just like, you know what, maybe I will hang up my heels. You know, maybe I just can't do this anymore. There's just so much coming my way.
I mean, there's times, don't get me wrong, there's times that I feel that way. And I still deal with a lot of mental issues. I've been a suicide survivor twice. Even as an adult, just recently I've had like a really bad breakdown, but I try to immerse myself into work and think about my mutual aid and think about folks that maybe need this. And so sometimes I take it off. So self-care is a good thing. I know I'm saying it now. Sometimes I forget to do that myself.
Yep,
and it's
me too.
Okay not to always smile. It's okay to say no to things. It's okay to, break down, because all of us are human. I'm so thankful that I've moved back to my reservation and I fell back in love with it. Because there's times where I feel like I can't talk to nobody. But guess who I talk to? I talk to Mother Earth. Sometimes when it gets too much, I immerse myself into the water near my house and I just sit there and pray to the water and we have conversations. So yeah, mental health is a real thing.
It's so important. I would say, is there a stigma also in the Indigenous community? Because I know for Black and Brown, there's a huge stigma. It takes everything for us to say, I need help.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest step, is to say, I need help. And to reach out to somebody, especially for us as people of color, reach out to somebody that looks like you. They're going to understand, especially for us that are Black, especially our Black, our Latin, and our Indigenous folks or relatives. We were brought up to think that mental health was not a real thing. And I still deal with that myself, because I was always taught, nope, you can't. That's not a real thing. But it is, and it's okay to ask for help. There are people that struggle with things. I'm telling you guys now, or telling you all now, that it is. I've had my moments. I know people think I keep it together. You don't have to keep it together every day. But it makes you stronger.
You're gonna make me cry.
It makes us stronger to say, hey, I feel broken. Hey, I'm having a bad day. And somebody else, especially us folks that have voices, if we speak up on that, it's going to help other folks say, hey, I can speak up. Or maybe they'll reach out to me or reach out to you and they can speak about it. So don't feel bad. But then also, like, I know a lot of folks, I'll probably get slack for saying this, but like, because a lot, I would say, talk to Mother Earth. Go for a hike. Go for a swim. Talk to the Earth. She's Mother Earth.
Take off your shoes and just earth. Take off your shoes and just feel your toes into some dirt and ask your questions.
Also, not your non-Indigenous folks, don't neglect that. Remember where you are standing on, because I don't want anybody to think that, but I'm totally about that. You could do that, but let's please still respect Mother Earth. Ask to be there and permissions, and don't go to sacred sites of Indigenous folks and say, "Oh, I saw Shug on there, and she said I could come over here." No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying, find different things to feel better about yourself. You might not need to talk to a person. You can talk to our four-legged animals. You might be able to talk to the tree. You might find something. Your artwork. Put your pain or your struggles or your mental health into your artwork, into drag, into your cooking. There's so many options that I found, and I think that's the only way I've been able to survive, is just amplifying that into different things and putting it into Mother Earth, putting it into my drag and my artwork, into my activism work, into my family. But yeah, it's okay to break down. It's okay to have a bad day. If someone tells you they're perfect and they never break down, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. It never happens. I've never heard anybody say that they're not. We all have issues, and it's okay. We all have our own journeys. We all have our own pathways, and it's okay to be you.
And we're blessed to have each other. And like you said, hey, girl, if you ever need someone to talk to, you can just call me, because I bet we've gone through a lot of the same shit. You just, you're always trying to just separate yourself. Oh no, there's no way they know what I'm going through. No one can feel like this. And it's so not true. We will always find somebody in our community that has been through those same thoughts. Those dark thoughts are like quicksand, and we'll be in them up to here. We're okay. We don't need any help. And all we have to do is just extend our hand to another person in our community, and we'll be okay. Let's talk about those fabulous earrings. Who made those? What? I was like, that's the American flag upside down. I love it.
I also have rings and a necklace, but it's too hot right now. Actually, one of my sisters, they are from Tucson. It's Made for a Queen. That's Made for a Queen, I think, .com. They do amazing work. So yeah, I wore this in San Francisco during 4th of July and did an all Indigenous show.
I love that, 4th of July. I love that. Oh my God, listen, this 4th of July, I didn't even go out to celebrate. I didn't do a barbecue. I was like, look, I mean, reproductive rights are, have just been hatched. LGBTQ is being attacked at every corner. Why would I go celebrate this country? I couldn't even fathom it. So I love that. And how was that event in San Francisco?
It was amazing because I did an all Indigenous show in the Castro. And it was funny because a lot of the queer relatives were running around with the flag. And I was just sitting here with my land back earrings. And I think one of the performers had a flag, and they had it upside down, and it said, or they didn't have it upside down, but they wrote land back on it. And I went right behind the guy that had the big old American flag waving around at the Castro. And I was like, nope, don't forget where you're standing. This is stolen land you're celebrating. This country was built off of blood, off of slavery, off of Indigenous folks. It's like, oh, I just don't understand. It's like, it's okay. I mean, I understand. We get a holiday. We all love to be off. We all love barbecues. We all love to celebrate and be around kin and family. But let's not celebrate stuff like that, like with 4th of July, with No Thanks, No Giving, with Columbus Day. Let's celebrate other things. Yeah. So I don't really celebrate it. Technically, I work during those so-called holidays. But I do it more on a radical side. But yeah, yeah, these earrings were Lucinda Holiday, Made for a Queen.
I love them.
I don't know if she'll remake them, but maybe.
I love them. They are beautiful. A couple last questions for you, Lady Shug. I know that you're super busy saving the world. Do you watch Drag Race?
Yes, I do. I especially when I start traveling, like being in an airport, especially with these airports now, they cancel flights all of a sudden. It's my only time to catch up on TV or, on anything like that, because I don't really have time. I'm either doing my mutual aid or making outfits for my next gig. So yeah, I do watch it, and also I'm just a big stan. That's where I fell in love with Bob, and because I was a fan of Bob the drag queen before I met him and worked with him on We're Here.
He's incredible. I love. He's definitely. I was going to ask you who's your favorite. So is Bob your favorite?
Oh, yeah, Bob the drag queen's one of my favorites.
Who else?
That's about it.
And me. You're like, and I, and me. All right. Are you going to be on any future shows, Lady Shug?
Yes, I'm actually producing a show in Santa Fe, New Mexico at Sight. It's a museum here in Santa Fe. I'm bringing down Londa Lakes and another Indigenous girl. We're just going to do a mini all-Indigenous cast at this museum in Santa Fe. Santa Fe is like a really tourist and like whitewash where they come and buy our jewelry and our pottery, and it's very expensive, and so it's interesting that we're going to hold a queer space but also really need it. And then I'm also working with Illuminatives. I'm actually having a meeting with them after this about an all-Indigenous show. I don't know the location. I'll probably know it after this meeting today, but look out on Illuminatives. They're going to bring a whole bunch of Indigenous artists, drag artists, to one location on Turtle Island, and we're going to do an all-Indigenous drag show. So I'm excited for those.
I love that. I'm supposed to be going to New Mexico next year, so I'm going to look you up for sure. I've never been. Yeah. And there's like a big balloon festival or something like that out there too every year, right? Yeah. Tell me about the Shug Challenge, Lady Shug.
Yeah. So the Shug Challenge is basically something that I came up after We're Here with Bob, where I decided to do a Shug Challenge where I want to call in other relatives all over our social media to help me donate for our unsheltered relatives here. Like I said earlier, I live in a border town on my reservation, near my reservation. And so Farmington has a really bad population for unsheltered relatives. And a lot of these shelters profile Indigenous folks, sometimes don't let them in just because of the color of their skin or already kind of have a prejudgment. And so I always hear a lot of times in these border towns, a lot of Indigenous folks freeze, especially during the winter. So I wanted to help. And I was kind of already doing it before We're Here started, but I wasn't doing it as big as I'm doing it now. So I had a lot of folks donate stuff like sleeping bags, like tents and hand warmers and, snacks and female products and underwears and so many things that unsheltered folks needed. So I started doing that, and I still do that year round. And the Shug Challenge also evolved during the pandemic, where we assisted some of the Indigenous elders that live on my territory. Because if you guys don't know, the Navajo Nation, the Diné territory, it covers 3 states, which is New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah. So we're a pretty big territory. And so sometimes we have more churches and hospitals than we have supplies or stuff. Like they would have to come and drive like 2 to 3 hours to get to a hospital, 2 to 3 hours to get to a grocery store. So what we did during the pandemic was we raised funds and we raised money so we can get product to our elders that live way far out deep in the reds. My territory still has some of my relatives that live way out there still don't have running water, still don't have electricity. And we're in 2022, and that's crazy. Also, the Shug Challenge also does a thing called Shug's Babies, which amplifies young teens and young adults that are beginning their journey as trans men and trans women and non-binary. So what happens is I go on my social media and I do a call out. I'm actually getting ready to do one soon where I say your parents or aunties or friends say, hey, I have, this teen that's 13 years old that just came out as a trans man. And so what we do with the Shug Challenge is we get them chest binders or like what they're into. If they're into comic books, we get them a whole bunch of comic books. We get them like trans flags and swag. We just basically want to amplify our trans youth and young adults because of what we're seeing still, the injustice of trans folks, especially our trans Black women, of seeing that on TV and seeing it on the internet. I feel like if I was a trans young folk now and seeing that, I would feel really scared for my life.
Yes.
And so what the Shug Challenge does is trying to amplify them and let them know that they have community. So I don't want them to get in depression. I don't want them to feel anxiety. I just want them to live their life, because that's the beginning and perfect start of getting to know yourself and the true self. And so that's why I do that for my trans babies, just to amplify them instead of like judge them. And I get consent by their parents. I still keep in contact with the last 5 that I did. One's in college, 2 just graduated. One's going into middle school. 2 of them's going to middle school. 2 graduated, and one's in college right now.
Wow.
So they're doing fabulous. So I keep in contact with them. I keep in contact with the families too. So it's just another way to build community and build kinship and just create mutual aid. And I don't know. I'm an only child, and I just feel like I'm very blessed that I've never experienced homelessness. I've never experienced, not being accepted or loved. I've never experienced of going hunger. I was very honored to do that. But so that's why I feel obligated that I needed to use my privilege and my able-bodiedness to help folks that normally are always forgotten about, our elders, our trans youth, and our unsheltered, which were 3 main things that the Shug Challenge helped with. Because they always get forgotten. You never see anybody talk about that unless it's during, the times where it's Pride season for our trans babies, or it's no thanks, no giving, and it's like, okay, now we're serving food for our unsheltered. I'm like, you do that once a year, but
one day for the whole year. How about the other 364? Lady Shug, you do so much, and you're always so busy. Like I said, I've been trying to get you on my show for a couple of months now. Where do you find time for a intimate relationship?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Like, who is your boo?
I don't Shug.
I'm my own boo.
Basically, I'm my own boo. Relative. I've been single for a hot minute. That's embarrassing to say. I'm probably in the, what is it called, double digits now. Oh yeah, I've been in the double digits for quite some time. I don't know. It's difficult. I mean, there are suitors, but normally, there are suitors that are interested. But I wanna date somebody of color. That was like my highest thing. Nothing against my white folks, but I feel like I would be against everything I'm about. They'll be like, oh my God, why is Shug dating John Smith? I got auditioned to do a reality show for dating, but I didn't make the last casting for it. But it was so interesting because I'm like, oh my God, that's like one of the biggest questions people ask. No, I'm single. I'm invested too much in mutual aid, and I did try to date somebody, but they were like, why do you keep doing mutual aid? Why do you keep helping them? I was like, well, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. If you're not about that, I'm sorry. And it was so bad because like they were in the military, so he didn't really like my stance of indigenous resistance. So he would get mad sometimes when I wouldn't stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, and it's just so many things. So it's like I don't know. I think I'm a good person, but I'm just like at the point now. It's like Mama's door is closing, and it'll probably be closed. I'll probably be single for the rest of my life, child.
I don't think so. Listen, I think that once this episode goes out, there's going to be a world of wonder going, hey, Bob, you want to host a reality show on getting dates for incredible celebrities? I know the first one, Lady Shug.
I don't know. I mean, I will say never. Watch this. You'll be interviewing me again. I'll be like, oh, you're invited to my wedding. No, I don't believe it. But I don't know. I just haven't found the one. I just barely found self-love again with my recent breakdown.
Yeah, you
Also,
have
I
to
just
love
wanna-
yourself, right? You have to love yourself unconditionally before you're able to put somebody else into that, you know? I got married a couple of years ago and I had friends that were telling me, yeah, when I wrote my vows, I said my best friend and that he completes me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's weird because, you know, my future wife was not going to complete me. I was a whole person when I came into the relationship, and together we formed a power couple. And that's what I was looking for in the other person in my life.
That's what I need to get advice from you. I need to just find somebody else where we could just have another power couple. And you know what? I dated. I don't have a type. I've dated all over the spectrum. I've dated another drag artist. I've dated a trans man, a trans woman. I've dated other femme and masculine gay guys. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I feel like love is love, and so I don't really judge the exterior. I judge more the heart and the passion of the person more than.
Completely. I'm with you 100%. I love you, Lady
I will
Shug.
say never say never. Well, I'm going to change that now. I'm just looking for my next for my partner that's going to form the power couple that we can become.
Yes, hashtag power couple. I love it. Lady Shug, what is your social media so everybody can follow you? We're going to put it on the screen for our folks at home.
Yeah, so it is everything Lady Shug Drag. That's LadyShugDrag.
We love you so much here at the FayWhat Show. I am sending many blessings to you and to the Dene tribe. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it right. Yeah.
And you are in my heart and you are in my thoughts. And when I'm in New Mexico, I'm hanging with you, girl. Just get ready. And if you're ever in South Florida, come on through.
Okay. I love it.
All right. Thank you so much for spending time with us here on the FayWhat Show. You are an incredible being. Thank you for just following your calling, being real, being authentic, being vulnerable. Sometimes people that we look up to, we put them on these pedestals and that puts even more pressure on them. You know, we need to know that they're human too and that they go through struggles. And you really just found a part in my heart today. So I thank you so much for that.
Thank you, relative. As I always do my interviews, I always tell people it's not important of who you love. It's important that you know that you're loved and your girl here loves you. And so thank you, relative. Thank you, production. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Lady Shug. Bye-bye, mi amor.
Finally, this morning, I want to get our week started by telling you some things that are really important to me. It's Faye, what's on my mind? Luna, you're on my mind, and compliments are on my mind, all right? It might sound silly, but compliments can really boost your mood. Also, pups can really boost your mood. Okay, hold on. Are we done making out? No, not yet? No, all right. So compliments can really boost your mood, right? And with how things are these days, we need all the help we can get. So when you wake up in the morning, try to think of something to give yourself a compliment about. Maybe you got a new haircut and you feel cute. Maybe you finished a tough project at work. Maybe you didn't lose your shit when you ran into your ex. Or maybe you made yourself the best meal last night. Whatever it is, starting your day off with a compliment can really put you in the right frame of mind for the rest of the day. Then pass it on. Give random people a compliment. To the cashier at the market, nice nails, mama, I love that color. To the barista at Starbucks, you've got great coffee energy, boo. To the Uber Eats guy, you've got a great smile, Uber Eats guy. You might just make someone's day. Compliments, they are free, and there's someone that will feel seen by your random compliment. So make sure that you do that today. Well, that's it. That's the FayWhat Show. I hope you had fun. I am really passionate about trying to connect the L and the G in our LGBTQ plus community. It's often hard for us girls. If we believe that we are one strong community, then we must support all the letters of our LGBT and Q plus. We opened the show with a nod to Mary Tyler Moore and That Girl's Marlo Thomas. This show is dedicated to a strong LGBTQ plus community. I just encourage you to be a little bit kinder, a little bit funnier, and embrace our tremendous diversity. It's what makes us so strong. Until next Monday at 9 a.m. live or anytime on demand. I'm FayWhat, and I am #ThatGirl. I wish you a week full of sunshine and rainbows. Stay gay.
Rainbows, gay boys, #that girl. sunbeams, drag queens, L-word is that girl, the girl of all our dreams. She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl, pride-filled, T-dance, Wilton is that girl, Latina, but she's you.
So, did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the FayWhat show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ+ media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the FayWhat.